Good morning, racing fans on the West Mountain and Central time zones, and good afternoon, racing fans on the East Coast. This is Kenneth Moultrie of Thoroughbred Ticket here on this Saturday, October 23rd, 2021. And today I have a pick five for you at Keeneland worth $81. It's going to cover races 6 through 10, so I think it's very, very manageable and very, very hittable. So stay tuned for Thoroughbred Ticket for the late pick five at Keeneland today.
Welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. We're playing the exotics like trifectas, superfectas. The pick 3, 4, 5, and 6 will become that much easier. Rushing to handicap multiple races? Well, your host will save you a bundle of time. And now here he is, the self-proclaimed expert handicapper, Mr. Kenneth Moultrie.
Once again, race fans, and welcome to Thoroughbred Ticket. I'm your host, Kenneth Moultrie, and as I stated in my opening, I have a pick five for you today at Keeneland, where it's going to cover races 6 through 10, and the total value of the ticket that I'm going to offer you today is $81. So I'm kind of hoping that the track is fast and the turf is firm. I looked yesterday. I know the races at Keeneland were just that, so I'm kind of hoping there was no overnight rain, although as I watched college football early this morning, I see there's a lot of precipitation on the East Coast. So I'm just hoping that there is a dry track and a firm and hard turf course here. So let's start with race 6 here at Keeneland. It's a mile and a 16th. Optional claiming 62,000, purse 88,000. 7 are going to run. And as of now, there are no scratches. And as I said before, being here in Los Angeles, I like to wait until the morning of the races because of the scratches and the changes are so much prevalent on the East Coast than there are at Santa Anita and Del Mar because of the weather, obviously. So like I said, so it's always late when I'm coming with these picks. And so like I said, I kind of tend to more do a late pick five on East Coast track. So like I said, let's start out. I have 2 runners here. Let's start out with the 2 Bull Luminari. Now, this 5-year-old gelding here is trained by Rudolph Brissett. Now, he has one race at Keeneland on the main track here, finished 3rd. Brissett is having a good meet here, 3 for 27, or 3 for 11 as the form is showing for 27%. The best thing I like about this gelding is the 2 Keeneland works, a 50 and 1 for 4 furlongs, and on October 17th, my birthday, a 101 for breezing for 5 furlong. Chris Landeros, a very comparable rider, will ride back here. And so good post position, does have a 2nd and a 3rd at the distance, is 2 for 16 lifetime. But, you know, coming out the last race at Churchill where he earned a 95 buyer and got those 2 Keeneland works on the track, I think is going to prove very, very tough for the rest of the field. I am not going to use the 4 Mystic Knight. It's probably going to be your post-time favorite. Morning line is 8-5 with Chad Brown and Johnny V. Does have 2 good Keeneland works himself for that particular gelding, but I am going to leave that particular runner out. My top choice and the last horse I'm going to use in this particular leg is the 6 Bourbon Calling. Now, this gelding is the only runner in the field with the win on Keeneland's track. Now, coming from Churchill last time where he was in an optional claimer for $80,000 with Brian Hernandez, who will ride back today, ran an even race. The last 6 races this gelding has run has been with front wrap. So I would hope if you're on track today, or if I'm watching and I'm going to make maybe a little side bet, maybe a win bet for this gelding, I would like to see if he will be removing the front wraps today. That will be a more confident builder for me. Ian Wilkes is kind of having a tepid, slow meeting here, 1 for 21 here. But like I say, the only runner in the field with the race, with the win on the track. Now, this gelding's going to need a kind of a pace to run at, but in a short field, I expect him to be a little closer than he would be in a 10 or 11 horse field or 14 horse field when he ran in a Clark last fall at Churchill. So like I say, Bourbon Calling is my top choice. I expect him to be closer. I will like to see if he is shedding the front wraps today, but we will see. So the 2 Bold Luminari and the 6 Bourbon Calling are my 2 choices in the first leg of the pick 5 at Keeneland today. Race 7 is at 7 furlongs. It's the Perryville. It's $150,000. It's for 3-year-olds. And right now it's clear of scratches, and 9 right now are scheduled to run. I'm using 3 runners in this race. Let's start out with my 3rd choice in the race. He's my Honey Badger. I guess that's named for the Honey Badger who now plays for does he play for the Chiefs now? Does he play for the Arizona Cardinals? The guy went to LSU. But anyway, he's my Honey Badger, is a runner I'm going to use. This is a Brad Cox, Florent Giroux production. Of course, they're one of the best tandem rider-trainer combinations in the country. So a lot of times you're not going to get a good price when these 2 team up. But today you may. Now, does not have any Keeneland races. Came out of a minor stake at Churchill where he was a fast closing second. Florent Giroux has ridden him before, won on him before back at Oaklawn in the spring here. The 84 buyer for this 3-year-old Daredevil colt is a little low compared to other runners in here. It's kind of like why he's my 3rd choice, but I'm going to go with him anyway. I think he's going to get a good run and a good position to strike when the field turns for home. Let me go straight to my 2nd choice here, and that's the 7 Irish Unity. Now, this pioneer of the Nile gelding here, the reason I like him is because I'm looking at runners who come out that Harold's Creek or the Harold's Creek race at Churchill, and there were 3 of them here. There was the 3 Ram, the 7 Irish Unity, and the 4 who I like, he's my Honey Badger. Now, the 7 Irish Unity was bet at 5-1 and had a little trouble at the start. I guess kind of weakened, got into a bad position. So I think this is kind of a redemption race for this gelding coming here. Steve Asmussen trains and Ricardo Santana will ride here. So I think, bet the other runners in this race, he's my Honey Badger, were 12-1 and Ram was 18-1. So both were kind of long shots. So with Irish Unity going off at 5-1 there and getting into some obvious trouble, not running the race he normally runs. I think more so today, back on the front end with Ricardo, and I think that Irish Unity is going to make a good showing of himself today. Now that brings me to my top choice in today's 7th race, which will be the 6 Pipeline. Now I know I really believe this is a bad morning line. Pipeline is opening at 4-1 for Chad Brown and Johnny V. Breaking the maiden at Saratoga with a 97 buyer, winning going away, and then coming back with 2 good Keeneland works shows that this Speightstown colt is still on top of his game and ready to run at Keeneland right here today. Now, I hope I get 4-1, but like I say, I think this is a bad morning line. And I think this is probably going to be the post-time favorite. But like I say, when you put him in a pick 5, it's not going to matter. Very rarely do I play horses straight to win anymore unless there's, some value that I can get with that horse when I play more money to make him the odds that I want him to make. So that's my top choice in here. So let's go review again the 6 Pipeline, the 4, he's my Honey Badger, and the 7, Irish Unity, my 3 choices in leg 2 of the pick 5, which is race 7 at Keeneland. Race 8 is a 1.16 miles on the turf. It's an allowance, high price, $93,000, purse $93,000, and it's for 3-year-olds and up. And 11 are going to run. There is a scratch of the Three Pirates Punch. The Three Pirates Punch is out, like I said, leaving a field of 11. And in this particular leg, I am using 3 runners. The 1 Hierarchy, the 5 Mr. Dumas, and the 9 Spectacular Jim. Let's start off with Hierarchy. Draws the rail for Joe Sharp. Now, looking at the running lines of this gelding, he's obviously going to need a fast pace or a lot of horses running ahead of him, with at least a honest pace. And with the rail saving a lot of ground, I think that this gelding should come running home pretty fast. Does have a second on Keeneland's grass course back last spring, or actually last fall. And kind of ran evenly, only missed by 5 lengths, even though finishing 10th. So I think, like I say, the style with the pace that he should get in here, I think I like this gelding by point of entry a lot here. The second runner I like in this race, and my top choice is the 5, Mr. Dumas. Now, Mr. Dumas is 1 for 1 at Keeneland. Won here last fall. Going away with Tyler Gaffleon. Got a 100 buyer at the same distance for about the same level here. So the last 2 times, I'd been at Colonial on their inner, set the pace and kind of faded. And then in the ACAC, the Grade 3 ACAC at Churchill on the main track, really didn't run his race. John Ortiz, I think, has been pointing this runner to this particular race, knowing that he is 1 for 1 and performed well on Keeneland's turf course. So that is my top choice in here, the 5, Mr. Dumas. The third and final horse I'm using in this leg is the 9, Spectacular Jim, for Brendan Walsh and Adam Beschizza. Now, this 5-year-old gelding here has a third on Keeneland's track, actually last fall again in the same race as Mr. Dumas. And that is one reason I like this particular gelding as well. I like common races. I like runners coming out of the same race. It doesn't matter that it was a year ago, but if it's on the same surface and a track that doesn't run as much, it's still a factor in there to me, as connections are pointing these horses to tracks they've performed well on in the past. So Spectacular Jim is definitely a player here. He's also a first-time gelding, so this is the first time running under that ultimate equipment chain. So I really like this. Like I say, I really like this runner as well. I think out of the 3 runners, even though he's my second choice, he's going to be the one that's going to be more, I would say, evenly placed. I would expect him to be between Hierarchy and Mr. Dumas. And so, like I said, I think he'll have a good chance to pounce home in this particular race here. So to cap, the 1 Hierarchy, the 5 Mr. Dumas, and the 9 Spectacular Jim. And that will be in race 8. Race 9 is leg 4 of the pick 5. The sequence is the Grade 2 Raven Run. It's going to be run at 7 furlongs. It's $250,000 purse for Philly's 3-year-old. And 11 are going to run here. There is 2 scratches. The 6 Feeling Mischief is out, as well as the 12 Just Read It. Those 2 are out. Let's start with the 2 Joy's Rocket. Now, this filly by Anthony's Cross is Steve Asmussen is training, and Steve is really kind of cold, as well as Ricardo, this particular meet, which is very unusual. But like I say, every race is different. Every scenario is different. Every pace is different. So a lot of times when it comes to these, outstanding trainers and riders, I don't pay attention to that. If I like the particular runner, if I like the particular horse, I'm going to go with that. And I do see Julian Leperoux is on this runner and Ricardo is not. That doesn't worry me. Joyce Rocket is 1 for 1 at Keeneland, won the Songbird here going away last fall on the engine. And so once again, coming back to a track that she's performed well at. Has a good post position, should be able to outbreak the one Shalimar Gardens, and so should get a good position, if not be in front, when they hit the quarter pole, and that's good enough for me. I also like the 8 Caramel Swirl or Caramel Swirl, wherever part of the country you're from. It's also a filly that's 1-for-1 at Keeneland. The Union Rags runner here will be ridden by Junior Alvarado, and Bill Mott is going to train here. And 1x10 going away, breaking the maiden this particular spring. So once again, should be very well placed. I don't expect her to be, in front of the 2 Joyce Rocket, and that's fine too, because coming out of that bull ring at Charlestown and the Charlestown Oaks, where this filly was 70 cents on the dollar, so that's somewhere around $3 to $5. Did not run her race, so coming back to Keeneland, where, like I say, where she's performed well, 1x10, also 1x3 at Saratoga in a high price allowance race, got a 95 buyer. So this filly is still on top of her game and will be my top choice in this race, the 8 Caramel Swirl. The number 9 Zanala Rab is my third and final selection in this particular leg. This 3-year-old Warfront filly, easy for you to say, trained by Chad Brown, written by John Velasquez. And the thing I like about her is, she broke the maiden at Saratoga. The buyer was nothing to write home about at 80, but the 2 Keeneland works, the 59 and 4 on October 10th, and the 49 stamps this filly as ready, is going to get a perfect trip outside of my top horse, Caramel Swirl. And like I said, Chad Brown is having a good meet, not just on grass. So, like I say, this Warfront filly should be in good position turning for home. So the 3 I'm using in this leg, the 2 Joyce Rocket, the 8 Caramel Swirl, which is my top choice, and the 9 Zanala Rab. Those are my 3 horses in race 9 at Keeneland. So closing out the pick 5 is race 10. It's a flat mile on the turf. Purse 86,000, 9 winners of 1 of allowance, 86,000 for 3-year-olds and up. Now there are a few scratches in here. The 2 Crown the Prince is out, as well as the 9 Hold the Flight and the 11 Clearing Waivers. Those 3 runners are out, leaving 9 scheduled so far, and I'm using 3 in here. Let's start with the 4 Healing. Mike Maker trains, Tyler Gaffney is going to ride. Now, I want to say this real quick, just like a quick caveat. I think in the next, right now, today already, I think Mike Maker and Tyler Gaffney is probably top 5 in rider-trainer combinations of efficiency, effectiveness, confidence, whatever you want to do. I think they will be on Pletcher and Velasquez status, Shoemaker and Whittingham status, Ricardo and Asmussen status in the next 2 years. So, like I said, Tyler is still young. Maker is coming into his own. He had a great Saratoga meet, and he's backing it up with some good runners. He's been hot of late here at Keeneland. So he uses Tyler here, and this, like I said, this gelding, it has a win on the turf. It wasn't at Keeneland, but has been very, very honest. Did win at Fairgrounds 2 back. Got an 84 buyer. Ran the race before that with another 84 buyer. And so the turf is the place for this gelding. That race at Kentucky Downs was fair. Finished third, only missed the length. But like I said, that's kind of like a crapshoot a lot of times in that, 1 week meet or 2 week meet, whatever they have. So back on, a more conventional meet surface at like Keeneland with Maker and Tyler Gaffney I think this gelding is going to be very, very tough today. I'm using the 5-horse Gins Burn. Now, Rusty Arnold trains this gelding, and bobblehead James Graham is going to ride. And not, just a quick note on, you've listened to my handicap shows before, and I always call James Graham bobblehead Graham. And where that came from is when he was riding at Arlington regularly, and they would, he wasn't Renee Douglas status or Jose Valdivia status a lot of times, but he was near the top a lot in the riders and the jockey standings, and everybody got a bobblehead. Most of the top riders got a bobblehead dog, and he didn't. So every time he would win a race at Arlington, he would kind of protest that by jumping off the scale, and then he would do the bobblehead thing. So that became popular. So that's why I just started calling him bobblehead Graham. Not that you need to know that, but that was just something that when you hear me call bobblehead Graham, now you know. So yeah, he will be riding for Rusty Arnold. This 3-year-old gelding by Noble Mission here does have a win on the turf. Has only had 3 starts. That win was at Ellis Park, got a 79 buyer, broke the maiden, then was in the Beverly D the Bruce D at Arlington, and was not disgraced. There were 9 runners in the race. He was bet kind of at 6-1, finished 3rd. And I think coming back here, I think that experience coming out that particular race, I think the race was very deep, and I think Ginsburn will show his worth in this particular race back down with horses that he can feel more comfortable with. The final horse I'm using in this leg and the final horse of the whole pick 5 sequence is the 12 Nice Ace. Now, when I looked at the scratches this morning, when I did the handicapping yesterday and a little this morning, and I looked and I saw that the 11 clearing waivers was scratched, it just enhanced my liking for Nice Ace even more, because Nice Ace has plenty of speed. Now, here's the thing here. Nice Ace is obviously on the outside, has never been on the turf before, but the Tomlinson figures on the turf at 301 for turf and 323 for distance at the turf is very, very good for a runner who's never been on the turf. Now you scratch the horse to his inside, and now you have a horse from the outside. If Ricardo can get this horse breaks clean and doesn't have to be an easy lead. I just want an honest lead where he doesn't break toward the grandstand. He breaks straight, he gets to the lead, and then he settles a little bit. This gelding is going to be very, very tough because, like I said, he's bred for the turf according to the Tomlinson figures, and therefore he's going to be on the lead. He's got the scratch of the horse to the inside of him. There's only 9 runners in the race, and this gelding is going to be very, very tough. So the recap in this last leg, the 4 Healing, the 5 Ginsburn, and the 12 Nice Ace. Now that's an $81 ticket, folks, at Keeneland. Once again, I always, I give pick 5s out. I really hardly give pick 3s out, but I do tell my listeners to play the pick 3 within the pick 5 or doubles, because, oftentimes they will hit. And so I just kind of expand the pick 5 so I can give more races and just kind of expound on more runners that I like. So once again, $81. Good luck today at Keeneland. I'll get back with you probably tomorrow on closing day, I believe, at Keeneland, and before I do my Breeders' Cup preview and card in the next 2 weeks. So take care. Like I said, good luck at Keeneland. Thank you for listening to Thoroughbred Ticket. This is your host, Kenneth Moultrie, and good luck at the races. Take care.
This has been the exotic wager portion of Thoroughbred Ticket with your host, Kenneth Moultrie. Please tune in again next time, and especially share if this show gave you a pick 4, 5, or 6 that catapulted you to having a great day at the track.